We'll get started in a couple minutes here. I'll just stop it and I think because that's very easy to talk more about how this works. Yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah, we're gonna get started here. Perfect. Welcome everyone, and yeah, thanks for coming out. Really excited for tonight's events on developing no-code solutions using Zoho Creator. And this is an event put on by Boston New Technology. It's an event group that's been around 10 plus years. I used to attend as a member, you know, kind of building my own venture. I have a company called Prepare for VC that supports startups through the fundraising cycle, and I'd always love coming out to the events, both in person and virtually. To it's been a mix of webinars or you know, workshops, panel events, and kind of a flagship series around startups called our Startup Showcase series, where 6 to 8 companies will come out and present what they're working on and new technologies that they're developing for really, to showcase to the community for feedback and advice. And yeah, so we always like bringing a mix of educational expertise from our panelists and experts that we bring in, and also create an environment you can network and meet other developers, tech enthusiasts, entrepreneurs in the area, students, and kind of get all of that in one place. And so just about a year ago, the founder asked us to come in as co-organizers, and was really excited to join. We've been kind of building back up to both in-person events and a weekly newsletter. So everybody that came out and got a ticket for tonight, we'll add you to the newsletter as well, where we showcase other events that are going on around the city of Boston, and also resources and opportunities and like discounts from service providers and partners that can help support what you're developing or what you're building yourself. So yeah, anything else, like if there's anything you don't see in the newsletter too, feel free to reach out, and we'll see how else we can support everything you're working on. Yeah, so again, I'm Jason Krause. I'm with Boston New Technology. Really excited to have all of you out tonight, and super excited to bring on our event host, Zoho, from the Zoho creator community, to give us several different presentations, workshops, and demos tonight that are going to take you through the experience and how the platform can really support everything that you're building.
Yeah, thank you, Jason.
Thanks. I'll let you guys take it away.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Kalidas Porika. I'm the solution consultant for Zoho. My colleague Jesse, he's running late. Actually, he was supposed to come here by 2 o'clock, but he's flying from McAllen, Texas. That is almost border to Mexico. So he won't. I think he might be able to come to the last part of the demo. Hopefully, if he comes. Yeah. So I'll be covering up for him. So again, my name is Kalidas Porika. I'm the solution consultant for Zoho. I've been with Zoho for last 1 year. Earlier, I was with Zoho from 2000 to 2007 as pre-sales engineer and product manager for a product called Web NMS. That's like when the Zoho got started earlier, like in '96. So just want to give some ideas on Zoho. So basically, Zoho has a different philosophy in building the company and building the products. And so the founder's conviction is that we will not take outside equity. So we will not take money from venture capital. And another one is inside the Zoho, the hiring is we are not looking for credentials. So if somebody is from high school and he's really good, passionate about it, we take them. We have a university system in the Zoho that filters the candidates only through the aptitude test, and then we pay while they actually learn. So like from right out of high school. So that has been really working for us really well. So those are the convictions, some of the convictions that our founders have, that will never have a outside venture capital, like basically driving the our immediate revenues or our goals as a company. Zoho is a bootstrap company. So Zoho got started in 1996. So our founder, Tony G. Thomas, he wrote SNMP API. Basically, it was used by the network equipment vendors, like in those days, like Lucent, Alcatel, Motorola, and then there is a lot of local startups also used our product. Like you might have heard companies like Irvana Networks, and then there is one fiber optic startup in Chelmsford. So we had at that time something like 100 companies using our products. So this API. So the API gave us the revenue, the seed capital. So with that seed capital, we created a product called Web NMS. It's a framework product, like installable product. Basically, they can create a portal on top of their agents, like on top of their devices, how to monitor that device, how to provision those devices. So we gave a framework. And so from there, it's our whole goal is that we get revenue like that Zoho SNMP API was our start. Then we went into this framework product, and then came the 2002 telco bus. And from there, we actually branched into enterprise. So we started giving products like Op Manager, like the point products that solves the IT related problems. So we had a help desk, all those things as installable products inside a enterprise. And that basically is branched into our brand called Manage Engine. Manage Engine itself has like something like 30 to 40 products. So from Manage Engine revenues in 2006-7 timeframe, we went into SaaS, software as an application or software as a service. And since then, like that Manage Engine revenues actually funded our development into CRM, Creator, Flow, all these new products, the web-based products or the software as service-based products. Zoho is a private company, so we haven't taken any outside funding so far. So the initial money came through the founders, their own sweat and equity. They put the money, and then the API driven the sales. So and Zoho will want to be in the foreseeable future want to remain a private company so that we can stick to our goals. Yeah. So Zoho will remain an independent company, not beholden to like stock market or the valuations on the Wall Street, right? Like, so they have very, if you don't show 20% growth next year, like there is a pressure on the CEO to do the headcount reduction, all those things. So Zoho never had any like basically retrenchment or reduction in the employees since 2002. 2002 was our painful year, and since then we never had any layoffs or any sort of that kind in Zoho. Zoho is like since any product we do is like the creator product that we are going to show next is almost 14 years, 16 years old. So it's not a fly by night kind of operation. So we have a long-term vision, and we constantly refine the products again and again. So the creator had like right now it is on version 6. So we had 2, 3, and then version 5 was it was there for a long time, and then now the new version 6, we have added features like flow, like basically without coding, you can get integrations into Zoho's own services and into third-party services. And on top of it, Zoho is a technology company. So right from the stack, like we have our own databases, like inside these things, relational databases or wrappers around the popular relational databases. And we used to actually use a company called Vertica earlier. It's a columnar database for our analytics products, but recently we have come up with our own columnar database, and it took us a lot of time to get to the place where we are. And our products, like the application products, like analytics, Zoho Analytics actually uses that columnar database. So most of our revenues actually go back to the in the development R&D process. So we have only like something like 80 to 90% of the revenue that goes into R&D, and only 10 to 15% goes into the sales and marketing. Unlike other companies, most of the IPO based companies or the public companies where to raise something to get to the like quick revenues, that kind of pressure is not there on Zoho. So the technology can be very cutting edge. So we want to slowly go to the technology and then offer the same thing to our customers at a much lower price. So the Zoho stack, what we have is we have our own data centers instead of relying on Amazon or Google or Microsoft. So obviously we rely on service providers like Verizon or those things to connect to give us the connectivity to those data centers. And obviously you all know networking, then hardware, then software. At the services level, we have our own database as a service, like then caching as a service with Redis, and then this vertical, right? The columnar database as a service. And another service is the single sign. Zoho One has something like 50 plus products, right? So all those, if you buy 5 services from Zoho One, you don't want to keep logging into each service as it's different thing, right? So Zoho itself offers a single sign, something like Auth0 or other companies where, and if you develop a product on top of Creator, you can actually integrate that single sign-on with Zoho, and also with other providers like Auth0 also. So the apps are basically on top of the services, our own services. We have built the apps like a desk like that. So if a employee joins a company, right? So we have the workflow, like whole employees life cycle, like recruitment, HR, finance, the backend services, like all those things. And then the employee itself uses the email, like the productivity tools, communication tools. We have our own Click, that's our equivalent to Slack. All the products we have in the Zoho One. So these are our data centers. So with the EU, right, the data has to be local. So all the .com domains data goes to our 2 data centers in one is in Dallas and the other is in Portland. So other 2 are in Europe. Like one is in London, other is in Utrecht. It's a Finland. I think it's a Holland, I think, like Netherlands-based location, and 2 data centers in India and 1 data center in Singapore and another data center. I don't know where exactly its location is. So the traffic is routed from our top place, whether it is a .com, it goes to the North America data centers. So as I talked earlier, like we have the broadest suite of business apps. All apps are built on the same technology stack. So most of the apps, they leverage the framework services that we provide from bottom up. So you don't have to worry about we have like basically about fault tolerance across the like east or west, like same thing with the Asian customers. They have their own data centers. So you will get so how let's say, for example, the creator is right, like creator stores your data in 3 databases, and we have the reliability of storing 2 databases will be in the US and 1 will be in a backup location. Yeah, so these are some of the products. So right from IT help desk, so the back office operations like human resources, office suite, email and collaboration. So if you are a developer, you'll be having like something like equivalent to Zero, creating wiki, all those we have, all the products we have. On the finance side, we have Zoho Books, and on the sales and marketing side is our CRM, the big campaigns. So Zoho Backstage, those are the products. So right now we have like this slide is a bit outdated. We have something like 100 million customers, and employees are close to 14K, and 55 apps in the Zoho One, and close to 160 plus countries. Like the customers are from 160 plus countries. Yeah, so this thing, if you guys can scan this, it will open up a Wordle, and the word is just one of the Zoho products. If you can track it. No, it should be. Oh, yeah, you have Wi-Fi.
Actually, no, Android. It was available with name, email, phone number.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Right, so just
huh?
you're in the dialogue. Yes, so you can just
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So I think sorry, I put the wrong image. This is for the feedback, I think. Okay, sorry. So
You got us all to sign up.
Sorry. So here is the word. So like, let's solve together. Yeah, if you can just copy that URL, that it is supposed to be a. How about this one? Can you scan this? Yeah. This should go directly to it.
Yeah, that way.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry about that. I go to the sheet. We have a. So I is there, and so and that letter is in at wrong location. Okay, not to stretch it further, I'll just give you the answer. So the begin is our product. So right. So what I wanted to show you is that basically we have, so this product is done on Catalyst. So the whole front end back end is developed on a Catalyst. And we have the stats on the analytics products. So the Catalyst, as you give to your these things, right? So it gets sends the stats through via flow, our product, like the connector. So Catalyst is the one that is serving you the Wordle application. And flow is the one that is the connecting that data, the URL text, all those things into analytics products. So I just wanted to show that like a simple solution like Wordle like this, our developers did it in a day. And instead of reusing same, doing our own custom code, we just wanted to give a feel for it, how the Zoho services can be seamlessly integrated. So Catalyst does the wording, and when using the flow, we are pumping the data into our analytics product. So back to presentation. Yeah, with that, that's the introduction on Zoho. Any questions?
You show us looking at the center that you have around spread the world. You explain also that you have like 3 databases, right? That you probably.
Yeah, yeah.
What's happening if I am a US customer and I am traveling in Europe? When I try to connect to my services, I am connected to US, or I'm connected to the Netherlands data center and you go the connection to US locals.
It's basically .com is it goes to the US.
So your server place for doing the same.
Yeah.
So once it is in US, it will stay in US.
Yeah.
Until and unless you don't request for the data center, it's gonna be.
Yeah.
And the other question, because I work in the cloud, so
Yeah.
why you have your own data center?
Because if you actually, I had my own company, and like I had a PABX on the like this basically private branch exchange, right? Like the phones. The amount of like the money that you have to pay to Amazon like that as you have more services is exponential. Like they look very attractive in the beginning with low prices, but obviously you have to scale, right? We have to have a lot of customers. So Amazon charges both in and out. So both the data coming into the data center and going out, right? So they charge at least one half they charge. Ingress I think ingress they charge. There is ingress, egress. Incoming data is called ingress, and outgoing data is called ingress. So that's one of the things. And since we are like we are using our data center not only for customers, but Zoho itself is hosted on Zoho. So every Zoho's employees all the email or like the whole life cycle of the employee is served by the Zoho. So that itself is a huge savings for us if we create our own data center because of the scale. Yeah. With that, I give Abhishek. He's our partner and he's our MVP partner for the creative product and other solutions too.
Thank you for that, Kalidas. Hello, everyone. Good evening. So first and foremost, we know that we are here to understand low-code custom applications, how this can be customized, and how is that we're going to make life more beautiful, more customizable rather, right? So I will start with digital transformation world. So everyone knows that adoption of digital transformation by an organization is called digital transformation. And an organization doesn't mean that it needs to have 1,000+ employees. It can be as small as a single user, right? And if we talk about Gartner, Gartner suggests that by 2024, low-code application development will be responsible for more than 65% of application development. So on an average, 41% of business technologists customize technology solutions themselves. That means all low-code customers will come from business buyers. So that means people will do things by themselves. They will not only rely on IT organizations for setting up things. And by 2025, we will witness all of this. And what are the, there are some challenges that are being faced by a lot of business owners. So what are them? So it is managing workflows. So that is the hardest thing that they face. So because, either they are not cloud-based or they are not integrated with each other. So they have to use multiple applications, which is timeless, which doesn't let them use a single platform. Like my friend mentioned, single sign-on that gives you the ability to use one application and access other applications inside it. You don't have to go anywhere else. And in order for business to run smoothly, we need features such as connected hierarchy, approval processes, Kanban boards. For who do not know Kanban boards, it is something that you visualize the work in progress. You see what are the limitations and how is that we can maximize the efficiency of it. And this is the digital era. So we do not have to take printouts of papers, then sign them and then scan them and then send them across. We should be able to sign them digitally. So it gives us the ability to do that. And moreover, everything is cloud-based. So all the data that we're talking is going to be stored on the cloud. It can be accessed from anywhere. All you need is a login, internet connection, and a device that you can access any of your data. And like I mentioned earlier, it gives you, the software should give you the ability to integrate with third-party softwares, third-party applications. And now we will be talking about driving business growth with custom business process management software. We see that in order to differentiate yourself from a competition, we need to be innovative. If we are not innovative, we are not doing something different, we are just like others. How is that we're going to grow? Or organizations struggle to innovate because they, the time it takes for them to create those particular applications. So if we are spending 60% of our time creating those applications, when are we gonna publish them, launch them, and make the best benefit out of it? So that's what we need to do. And quickly, we will, compare the characteristics of a traditional development with no code and low code development. So when we talk about traditional development, which is being used till date, the development we will, categorize in 5 different things. Development resources, where when we talk about traditional development, for example, we take an example of web app development, mobile app development. We need to have resources or hire developers who can, who are specialized to perform those, applications, or who can customize those applications, or who know that kind of coding. But with Creator, the beauty is that citizen developers can do it. I mean, business users can learn things by themselves. This is a self-learning platform. It is an intuitive drag and drop. And if it is like that, and the beauty is that it can be customized to the extent you cannot even think of. We will take a few examples in the coming slides, wherein I'll tell you the kind of customization that it can be done with Creator. Development time. So most important thing for a business owner is time. So if they are spending months in getting an application developed with extensive coding, what if something fails? They would have to, go back to the developer, get things fixed, and come back and then launch the application. So we do not have the luxury of time. In order to do that, Creator comes into picture because it accelerates the development by 10 times because things are pre-built. So these can be, as good as ready-made design templates are there, drag and drop interface is there, and minimal coding, you can achieve whatever you're looking. And we all know that development cost, whosoever are in business, they know that, if we need to hire a developer, they charge somewhere around $100 to $175 an hour for the development. And you can imagine if they are spending 3 months or 6 months developing that application, how much we end up spending on that application. We need to save that. And in order to save that, you see the cost for Zoho Creator license, it starts from $25 per user per month. Yes, it's $25. We are not spending hundreds of dollars just for the, an application. All we are spending is for the application that is hosted already on the cloud, which can be configured through drag and drop, and you do minimal coding and you're good to go. So when we talk about platform readiness, so when we speak to a developer, that person will say, okay, I will create this web application for you. However, to make it mobile friendly, this is going to charge you this much. And for that, I need extra time. So you would have to get in touch with another developer. However, when we talk about Creator, this application works when you are creating it for the web. You just open it on the mobile, it's ready to go. That's the beauty of it. And maintenance, when we are working with some traditional developers, they are going to charge hefty amount of money for maintaining the applications, right? However, if this thing is getting updated by itself, Zoho takes care of that, updating the application as a backend. Now we talk about, or I would say I'm reiterating the benefits of low code. First and foremost is speed of development. Number 2 is the code quality, because yes, a coding language is being used here. It's called Deluge. Deluge is the language which is used at the backend that my friend will explain better. And the code is secure, and Zoho maintains industry standards and the best practice. Okay. It is flexible, it is extensible. And like I mentioned earlier, while you are creating the applications, you are already deploying the application, and testing is done on the go. You don't have to spend extra time testing the application. Now we will talk about Zoho Creator. It is a cloud-based low-code app builder which we can use to design custom applications. So rapid application assisted by visual drag and drop builders, easy to use, intuitive user interface, automatic scalability for constant changing business needs, and anybody can build the apps. So when we talk about this slide, it talks about the power of this application, because application should be robust enough. They should have the business intelligence inside it. It should give you the analytics. It should be easily integratable, and process automation this all should come in a single platform. That is how you will come to an end-to-end solution for business. So now I will just quickly talk about NCAP. And now you will say, what is NCAP? How did it come into picture into Zoho? NCAP that's where I come from. I am one of the directors of NCAP Technologies. We are a firm which has been in existence for more than a decade. We have delivered more than 500 projects with a success ratio of 98.5%. We are proudly say that we have 45 plus certified and experienced professionals. We have built more than 20,000 hours, and we have 150 resources globally. Right? With all that being said, I will talk about the solutions that we have created for different industry verticals. So we have worked with food industry, we have worked for solar industry, we work for telecom, mobility solution, IT industry. We have also created partner and referral vendor portals so that you can give access to people outside of your organization. Whosoever want to access their application, want to share some data with you, you do not have to buy logins for them. You can just give them one login and they use that and upload all the data that they want to with you. And we have worked with logistics, we've worked for shipping industry, event management companies, fintech, manufacturing, and the list goes on. There's still, while as we speak, my team is already working on a lot of other projects that are coming from different industry groups. Today, we'll quickly go over to two case studies, the solutions that we have built on, this creator. So one is workstation booking app. As we have all witnessed the pandemic recently, and we see how this hybrid model came into picture, wherein a lot of hiring was done. We did not consider that we might need that kind of infrastructure, because with hybrid in place, we gave users or the employees the accessibility to work from home and they could come to the office. And why this application came up, so that we could give them ability to manage and allocate workstations, meeting rooms on different floors. Hybrid working model, less seats, more employees across different shifts and different departments, so that we do not have to hire a lot of shift managers and admins to plan large team and seat development. This is all we could come out without having a lot of people. So I'll come back to the screenshot, the previous slide. So the client that we worked for, they had multiple locations and they had multiple floors on that. And you would be happy to know or surprised to know, and on particular floor, they had 500 people sitting, and that to multiple floors in a building, and that to multiple locations. And instead of all this in place, they did a lot of more hiring that insisted them to get this application in place, which we made on Creator. So this gave them, during this, there was no clarity that, because shifts were not going on, people were working from home. If they have to come to the office, which system are they going to use? Where are they going to sit? And they cannot come all at one time. So we have to give them the accessibility to their managers so that they could plan their shifts accordingly and book workstations for them. And the best part was that we gave them the flexibility that individuals could also book their workstation or workspace whenever they want to come to the office. Are you guys with me, aligned with me? Thank you. So the benefits that it gave to them is any employee can check in workstation availability. They could choose their favorite or desired workstation. Individual could book a workstation at any given point of time because people work in shifts. So this application could definitely be used for co-working spaces as well. So they can also use this. Restaurants can use this for taking bookings, for managing their seating, movie theaters. I mean, a lot. This can fit in by a little tweaking and tweezing, and it can fit into different places wherein people have to manage with less resources, less infrastructure, and more outcome. And they don't have to spend hefty amount of money on it, right? So over here, when we look at this screenshot, it gives us the option. If you look at the right-hand side of the screen, you see select floor, start date, end date. And if you look at the extreme right, I'm not sure if you are able to look at it, it might be small. So what it is showing is booking status. It shows if the seat is available, if it is partially booked, or it is fully occupied. It talks about workstation type, if it is normal, if it is a project-based, if it is a COVID seat, or if it is blocked. So we can rename any of them because we have already spent a lot of time creating or customizing this application. Here, I'm sure you will be saying, you mentioned or you started with low code. How come this customization is coming? That's what we are talking. We are talking capability and capacity of creator, that it can do wonders. It can give you the flexibility to modify it to the extent wherein you can use it to the capacity, it gives you the freedom to use it, right? Maximum return on investment, I would say. So it definitely gives people to see the kind of seats that are available. Seats are marked with different colors. Let's say, there's an IT division, their seats would be marked yellow, HR would be pink, admin would be red. Similarly, we can define all of that and people can only select according to their department, right? Coming to the next application that we created for manufacturing app. First and foremost, I will talk about the challenges that they had, and then I will come to the solutions that we provided. So over here, clients were using different applications and to manage their projects, their customers, product management or project management, code creation, and shipping. So there was no information available in product. So that means that users were constantly missing information because they have been using a lot of different systems and they were using legacy system, which was like 20 years old. So this could not be upgraded. This could not be integrated with a lot of applications. They had zero visibility on forecasting and on the ongoing projects, right? There was no provision to create external users with an application which is already so old. How would you connect third-party applications, right? So with these things and their user interface was so pathetic that they did not like it. I mean, the people who got into the newer generation, they said, why are we using that system? So with that in place, we managed to do all this for them. So what we did is we created portal users for them to log in. An employee could check in. I'm sorry. Give me a second. Okay, so we gave them the creator access so that they could manage their products, their OEMs, because this was a manufacturer. This was an automobile manufacturer, and they were acquiring parts from different vendors. They were providing parts to them, sending it to them. So they were procuring all of that, and they have, this creator gave them a robust data structure to manage all the vital operations for them to manage their sales, quality, and project management functionalities. They, with Creator, we gave them the access to upload up to 50 gigabytes of data, on Creator. So you can imagine that size of files getting onto the system and they are accessing it freely. And we also created backlinks for the users so that they don't have to go to the work drive to access those files. They could use them right there from the creator. We created Kanban boards, like I mentioned earlier. Kanban board gave them the visibility, where is that they are, how is that they're progressing, how is that they can enhance the performance. Also, we give them custom project and code archive functionality in order to keep the system clean and up to date. We created custom tool for them to manage multiple code in groups, and one group may contain several products. Within a single code, we gave them the provision to see preview first. That means, usually with such heavy files, you do not get an option to get a preview thing. All you need is just a file name. So if you're getting the preview option, that is also an advantage. Also, we created custom approval processes for them so that whenever stage is changed and the best part is that external users were accessing it. However, with the permission of the internal user, the admin, if that person is not lying, they cannot do that file. They cannot delete that file. So that is significantly nice. So we have done a lot more applications as well. So these are only two because of the constraint of time. So I could talk only about two. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abhishek. So let's talk about the creator platform. So creator is a developer platform for you to create custom applications that can basically supplement already Zoho products or your own business processes. So if you have a unique problem, you can solve that problem. And so creator is like 2006, late in the 2006 when it was first released. We have 14,000 customers and they have created 7 million apps and totally 6 million users, like the end licenses, developer licenses. So the vision is basically just let the business analysts, like your business really well. So you don't have to have a lot of coding experience to create your own application. So that's the vision. So you do by what you know best, that's your business processes, and let that drive your application development. So that's what's the vision of the creator. So I'm going to give a brief like a architecture how we have come up with the creator. So what basically is you would have heard about like databases like Heroku or Amazon itself as a online database, right? So our solution is also it's centered around the database. And on top of the database, we have something called a Deluge. It is our custom proprietary Zoho language. So Deluge is very similar to Python. So it doesn't, you don't have to declare variable types, like similar to any non-compiled languages like Python, right? So Python is basically interpreted language. So it is very similar to that. But one of the things great about Deluge is it took the declarative syntax of the SQL as it is. So you can basically Deluge as, so if you have a form or a person as a thing, so you can say person and then in the square brackets ID not equal to 0. That equals to select star from person, right? So it's very easy to get to know. And there are only Deluge keywords are, there are not many, not more than like 20 or 30 keywords in Deluge.
So I always wondered this. I never understood why you came out with like another language. Wouldn't you just use Python? This is just not really.
Yeah. So Python is basically, it's very difficult with the new because of its tab-based things. So Deluge is not tab-based. It is like basically the braces. The curly braces is what makes it like it is a part of a computation. So that's one of the reasons. And not only that, basically, we wanted to have like support. Python supports so many things, right? For us to create a application online, we don't have all those things. We are encapsulating lots of it underneath it, right? So for the developer, you will just want to give only the basic things that are needed. So Deluge is not a general generic purpose programming language. So with the Deluge, like function as service, then what we added is the configurable workflows. So when you load a form, so form is basically a table kind of thing in the creator. So let's say when you create a first time when you open up a form, so there is a form lifecycle. On load of the form, on user input, very similar to what you have in React JS or those JavaScripts, right? The whole workflow of what happens when the component is loaded, when the component is updated, and the component is destroyed. Very similar to that, we have a form-based workflows. And with that comes basically the same application can be accessed on multiple platforms. Like on the mobile, it is mobile ready, it is iPad ready, the tablet ready, and then the browser based, the desktops. So if you think of this whole ecosystem, right? The online database. Yeah.
Pushing the mobile application are nothing or what kind of mobile applications for something the icons?
So we give two versions. One is using Android APK. So it generates a like deployable Android application. And we also give using Cocoa Pops a iOS equivalent to it. So all the back and forth APIs, all those things, the authentication, authorization, everything is transparent. You don't have to worry. So you out of the box, you get two applications. If you want to customize, you can customize.
Thank you.
So you can think of this database as the form. Then the next level is where you have the workflows. And on top of workflows, we have configurable reports. Basically, reports are like based on a criteria. So you want to create like based on a grouping, like typical database things, right? Like you want to group by the state, then the city, then that kind of grouping is allowed by creating the custom reports. Then we have the concept of pages. So where you can create your own custom pages. Pages can be a combination of report form plus some kind of a dashboard where you want to give a summary of the information. Right? So in the top you can have the dashboard, and in middle you can have a report, at the bottom you can have a form similar for the application. So it basically empowers any person to create their own, like as Abhishek was saying, right? Citizen developer, it could be a IT admin in a big company. It could be like we have a lot of citizen developers in India who have come up with a lot of solutions during COVID times, and most of those seats were given for free. So typical personas like you could be a business developers, IT analysts and professional developers. So the creator is targeted to all three of them, and mostly to the business developers and IT analysts because they know their business processes really well. And professional developers, if you need more customization, so we have the customizations part include like basically two things like the HTML snippets. We have a JavaScript API that goes back and forth. And another one is the CML snippets. CML is basically Zoho markup language. It is optimized for so if you code it once, it is optimized for both the mobile environments and the browser-based environments. So
when you did the last part, I didn't get this.
it's the ZML basically is optimized for the mobile side. So if you see the same application on the mobile, you can basically get a better usage or better usability on the mobile. Whereas the HTML snippets, they are just optimized for the browser, right? So creator benefits for the like the citizen developers, like you can digitize existing data. So a creator has the ability to read the barcodes, scan the PDFs. You can extract some of the data that is not in the digital form. And for the startups, you can put your ideas into the test, expedite to the production. You can scale as you grow up. So if you want to go to the most viable product, right? In a quickest time, so before, let's say, before your VC meeting, you can use Creator, get to the point where you can showcase your own specific technology, whatever it is, or a usable UI to your customers, or basically the alpha or the beta customers. And for the developers, they can quickly actualize the app. So we have the database already built in, and then the front end already built in. So all you need to do is to create forms, and then basically glue those forms together, and then create workflows with what to do when the form is created and the instance of a form is created. So this is like basically on the extreme left side. Left side is the professional developers. On the extreme right side is the like basically the citizen developers in the organizations or the technologies that are IT employees.
So will there be performance difference between the stock Android which is developed using Kotlin or something like Java and the application which is developed using Zoho MVP?
It's basically we are using for the Android Java.
Okay.
Same,
Backend it is.
Yeah, same. We are using the Android toolkit. Yeah, it's basically the Java based one. The output of it is a APK, right? Like basically Android package file. So that goes onto the mobile. Yeah.
So the Deluge language is built upon this language
Deluge is basically a interpreted language. Underneath is in Java.
in Java.
Like underneath is Java, but it's extract all those. Like we will go through the example when I go. So creator 6. So I'll just go through how much time we have. Based on that, like we have. So I'll
6.
We got, yeah, we have time to go through.
okay. So what I'll do is I'll go through the demo. So first let me get the use case for that one. So what we have is we have like after COVID we had opened like 4 or 5 offices. One in New Braunfels, one in McAllen where Jesse is coming from. Another is in Austin. And so our IT admin, he bought a visitor management tool from the third party. And the one problem with is that it needs a dedicated hardware. Like so when the visitor comes in, like he needs that iPad. And so basically using the iPad, he can put his details and then basically get the badge print. And another thing is it is expensive. So we have our own creator tool. Why not do this application onto us? So some of the problems that we foresaw is that when a visitor comes in, we don't want to give access to that user, right? So the visitor login is a form. So we created a form, but since we don't give him access, right? We don't want to create a new user in our system when a visitor comes in. It's just so we gave the visitor login form only public form. We made it public, and so that he can get access to them. So when a form becomes public, it has a lot of like the data embedded. It's like a lot of garbage kind of data that only creator can understand. So when we have that, so what's this thing is basically since we didn't want dedicated hardware, right? That the form pre-popped onto the Android or the tablet. So what we did is we put a for that location, so that when the user comes into it, he sees this QR code, right? And then he basically scans that QR code and it opens up the form, like specific to that location. And then when he chooses the employees, it will only display the employees for that area, right? And yeah. So that's the second problem. And then when a person is there in the location, there could be like a closure of the office due to emergency, something like that. So we are sending the notification to the visitor and his host. So the guy who is hosting the visitor. And also IT wanted who visited all those the logs, apart from the key fob that every employee has. They wanted to have a log of all the visitors, like last year, this month, all those things, right? So so that basically is solved by the customer's request. So that's the scope of the application that I'm going to show you. And then once that we are done with the demo, I'm going to show you how we build it. Okay, the stakeholders is IT admin and location. So the front desk, whoever is manning the front desk for that location, and host. So here, this is a very simple application. Only IT admin has the access to the application. The rest of them are just read-only users. And you can also create a hierarchical based like you can give access to the IT admin to these two locations. And if you have a company that is like 10 or 15 or 100 locations, you can basically create more IT admin users and then give them access to only the parts of the business they look after. So the schema is you have enterprise. Is it visible? Yeah, so we have enterprise. That's a typical like your company name like that. So it has name, website, email, this thing. And you have location, right? A company can have multiple locations. So location has the details like address, all those things. And each location has multiple employees, right? So the location is a lookup to the location there. So everything from left to right is one-to-many relationships. And on the public form, we have the visitor form, right? So that's where when the user comes in, he comes with the QR code, and then he tries to visit the host, right? And like the checkout form also, when he goes out of the office, you can again scan his badge and then check him out. So it basically auto checks out. So that's the schema. So let's see the application in action. So I have pre-populated some of the locations already here. So I have 2 enterprises, right? Zoho and Middle. And in my enterprises, since I created them, I have those things. So locations is, so let me create one more location. And let me refresh it. Maybe this location was never.
So while that's loading, so obviously like the application is low code because you're managing what the workflows go to.
Yeah.
What about the design part of it? Is that, do you use coding or you use templates to design like what the user sees?
Yeah, I'll come to the developer this thing. So let's So let's add location here. So let's add the location under Middle Earth. Address is 2300. And anybody know here 029? I think so. Yeah. Email is the custodian email, so the IT admin who is responsible for that location. And printer IP, we wanted to have, like if there is a dedicated printer, it can go to that printer, right? So we'll do that. So here, and now if I go to locations, right? So see, I have, this is in Nashua, like my location, and then this is in Middle Earth, right? So we have Roxbury Innovation Center. Now let's add an employee. Right. So let me the Roxbury Innovation Center. So let me add Jason. Right. Just give my email for that now. So now if I go to locations, so what will happen is right here location. So this Roxbury Innovation Center, it has the URL. Now all of you can actually basically scan it and then visit JSON, right? So it will automatically create your
Sorry, my phone was on like 5%. I'm sorry, I
No,
have to
it's
charge my
okay.
phone. I'll visit you later.
Sounds good. This is more- excuse me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let me.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so if you go to the visitors right now, so visitors today I should have some. So Jason. So yeah,
Out of phone.
yeah, it's fine. Yeah, so now in this OCR image, right? That is what we can check out. So if you do print, wait. So this is what it gets, right? So this will be the headshot. So if you submit the headshot, it will come on the left-hand side. And so Jason is visiting Jason, and then that will be the QR code to scan to check him out.
You see, I signed with the headshot with like 2 minutes.
Which one?
That's when you move. Let's see how that headshot comes out.
This one?
No, the one on top of it.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just made a picture of the wall.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The print view.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So now this ID, right? This is the checkout ID. So basically that is the public URL of the checkout form. So if I scan my like as he goes out of the office. So I get a form, so I basically can check him out. It opens up a form with just the ID, OCR ID, and then I submit it. So if we now go back here, refresh it, he should have the checked out time too, automatically logged in. So we have here, so visitor in it's auto generated. and visitor out. And so this is the time. So he was here for 2 minutes. Yeah. So this is the basic application, and then we all we have is like corresponding like the logs, different views for these logs, like the visitors this year. Obviously, today's visitors are also part of the this year. So last week there should be visitors this week. So obviously, we'll have those things. So now, and another feature is we want to notify the guests. So whenever the guests are there, so there is a parallel get out or something like that, and then you can select the location. So yeah. And so notify. So what it will do is it will notify all the guests who are still in the facility. So who are yet to belong. So that's the just application, very simple application. So let's now go back to the guts of this application. So what I have is
So we have a lot of optional fields. So in this situation, I did put email or phone number.
yeah.
I don't get the notification.
Yeah. It's yeah. Basically, this is a demo one. Our actually working application has also all those things, and it has the integration with the SMS also, Twilio. So that even if mail doesn't work, the Twilio, it can go through the SMS. So what I do is generally to get to that schema, right? So we have I sketch the application in a spreadsheet, right? In the Excel. So here enterprises is the one form, and I gave a name, website, email, phone, right? So the advantage of this is you can like get connections. You can create connections. Here enterprises is two, right? Basically, it knows that intuitively this is a lookup to the first form, that is the enterprises form. And similarly, employees, right? So here I have locations, which is a lookup to the enterprises, sorry, locations form. So you can create your like a sample data. That way you don't have to drag and drop each form. So what Creator does is it loads the Excel. So you have the imports from a like MDS, basically the Creator output itself, the data source. We call DS files. It can take a Excel. So it can take a Excel and then create all the forms prerequisite for this application. So what I generally do is build all the applications, think about the application, what are the forms I need, what are the relationships between those forms, and then put with the sample data. A lot of the times when you write the data, right? So a lot of the things clear out. So you may be duplicating some data from another form into another form. So when you really write it, all those things get cleared out, and that's why the schema gets finalized, right? So you might find something that is not necessary. So that's what you can do is like if you have a lot of fields, all those things, and you don't want to manually drag and drop in the form builder. So let's go to the development side of this now. So what I'll do is this is our sheet, one of the Zoho products, export as a Excel, right? Download as MS Excel. Okay, now go to C6. Create submission. So C6 consists of 3 products now. One is the Creator itself, the application development tool, the analytics, the earlier I showed, right, the Wordle stats, and the flows. Flows is the integration one. So with this, let's select and create from scratch. So VM Rocksville, right? Visitor management Rocksville. Oh, not from the scratch. We want to import it, right? Sorry, import from the file. So local storage. And then this. Yeah, thank you. So if you see this, it's already recognized name, website, email as the email, phone as the phone. And so it didn't recognize. So this initial schema, right, that what I had is actually from there, like that button page. So now you can specify that enterprises is the primary this thing. So here this one is a lookup. Or you can simply drag and so now it is connected to enterprises. Similarly, locations here is a lookup to the locations. So I can say and visitors like the locations in the lookup here. And notify guests is like a location. This is also a so that's how you can create the schema, right? So and all this so this way all your forms are created and then you are connecting them together too. So let's go back to the application. Right. So edit this application will give me the edit mode. Right. So what you have is edit mode at the top is you have design. So this is where you can create new forms like from the scratch. Or other way is basically you would import it through Excel. Excel is I would recommend for a slightly a guy who has done one or two applications, he knows what attributes means, all those things. But if you are not sure, then you can actually start from the scratch. So this is the design mode, right? So we can in the design mode, you can click on plus, right? So you can create a form, report page, or a workflow. So that's what the design mode is. So some of the let's look at the this one open in the form builder, and these are the attributes types. So we have name. Name basically has the both first name, last name, email, address, right? So this is the single line means just a string, and we also have multi-line date, date time, drop downs, and then in the advanced fields you have this decision box, basically a boolean, true or false, currency, date, time. This is lookup is the one basically that connects the forms or the tables. It's very similar to the databases. And we have some of the fields like advanced fields like subform. You can have a subform, a form within a form. So something like if you go to a coffee shop, if you order two things, means those things will as itemized things into the subform. So if I click on here, it gives me all the workflows. Some of the workflows that we have is right when the visitors form is popped up, we actually hit the image right? The QR code image for that, basically the checkout one. So when the form is loaded, so we hit all these things. So this is what Deluge looks like. And so here we are hiding all these fields when the form is loaded, and we are hiding the QR code also. And so when the user says he has a laptop, like the laptop says the show laptop details is if you checkbox the laptop, right? Then if the input is laptop, then if that is true, then you say show laptop. And so here, once you set the form, right, successful form submission. So this is where we are creating the QR code. And we are setting the current time to the visitors in time, right? And then we are sending a message to the logged in, like to the visitor, saying that this is your yeah, the
What
URL.
language is that?
This is a Deluge.
That's totally.
Yeah. So we are creating this QRs, like we have the code, QR code, and then we are putting that QR code into the image. Like basically, this is just a HTML tag, right? So it is an image field, and all you need to do is save at the source. So our this so that's on the visitor form. So those are the actions on the visitor form. So after created, then send email to the employee. So it sends the email, right? See this is, so you can access the attributes of that particular form. Employee is a form, right? So employee has an email, and location has a custodian email. So the location dot email. So we send the email to both of them. So visitor is waiting in the lobby, right? At location, everything is context sensitive, and it sends the badge, the PDF that I showed, right? Like for the printable view, and it shows. So basically, the host will take that PDF, print it. Like one of the things that we are doing is it will auto send that PDF to the printer in our locations, because we have only so many printers that are like those brother that they have those with respect to those things. So those printers are not to the general purpose use. So it can directly send the visitor badge to that, and then the host can go there and then collect the badge and get the visitor. Then, so this is where the general settings. So you can see we can do the schema builder will give you the schema of the same thing what we saw. So this is like in a different view. So you can see enterprises is the root table. And then from there we have locations. So locations has employees and visitors, right? Visitors basically they know whom to visit and what location they are visiting. And notify guests has only one lookup, right? That is to that particular location. Any questions so far?
So does that enterprise know they have just like one record?
Yeah,
Yeah, and then everything else.
Yeah,
depends from that.
yeah. So workflow we covered for the locations, right? So location is like as soon as you create a location, it just creates a QR code for that. So
Does this integrate with UML at all? Does it use UML as modeling?
yeah, it's not. So lot of the traditional software development houses, right? They use UML. So we are going to come up with something called entity relationship diagrams, right? ERDs.
Yes.
There is a company that does ERDs. So There is a thought process that if you have a well-defined ERB, you can actually, the way I loaded Excel, you can load it and then it auto generates the forms for you. But because of the companies how the ERB is stored, it's not standardized. So it's we are coming up with our own ERB tool and then that will be integrated here.
Question?
Yeah.
How much time to make, for example, this?
This application actually built by our trainees.
Okay, how many days?
It's not more than a week.
1 week.
Yeah, because if you can look right, like the Excel is I generated because I knew little bit of the business and I talked to the IT person. And the rest of the coding is just like I chose this application because it's what we are using and it is one of the basic applications. Means there is any workflow does not have more than 5 lines. And I can share this application to you in a .ds file if you want, so that you can, when you can import this .ds into your this thing, and then you can customize on top of it. You can delete all this.
And after you finish this, how do you test it?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we are coming there. So what we have is similarly we have the creator, right? So when you start an application, it prompts you whether you want to create environments. So environments consist of development, staging, and production. So what I'm showing you is production ones. So here you can see the environments. So once you do, you can see these are all my applications. So you can like move them to stage, production like that. And in each application you have, so here, so you have settings, right? So this is development, IoT. So here, and you can create demo users that mimic a particular role. So if you have, so here, for this application, I have made demo user 1 as the IT admin, and his role is CEO. Like, and then demo user 2 is organization employee. So when you log in as demo user 2, you will see only the views that he is supposed to be. So that's how we have the 3 environments. So it's a Zoho creator basically takes care of all those things, like whether to give those, like basically you don't have to worry about like moving database from one environment to the other environment. Only code gets transposed or transferred to from the development to the staging. The data does not get transferred. So for the production, your data will be fine. So, and there is a settings where you can back up the data every 1 day or every week, all those things.
So for all the environments, the resource will be equal.
No, obviously the production is where the highest priority is. Development is.
So that can customize or something. So
It's Zoho. There is no need for the. So it will scale. Like if you have a lot of portal users. So there are 2 kinds of users. One is the like inside organization users, and other is the portal users. Portal users. So inside the organization users are your internal users, and portal users are people that are coming outside from the public domain. So we have the option to inject the users in your environments. It could be the production or into the stage. With that, so it also gives you this mobile app, right? SDK. So you can create. So you have to have this information: client ID, client secret, and then the redirect URI. And then we have for the iOS, we have a separate core UI framework. And for the Android, we have the Android developer toolkit. And so in this application, we did make a few forms public, right? So I want to show you that. So these are the backups. Yeah, published. So visitor management, see here, we are having, right? So this, if you, the visitors form, checkout form, and thank you form is just it's not a form, it's just a static page. So these are the things that we made it public, right? So if you click on them, so this is why you need a QR code to transfer the user, because it's such a big URL it has the context sensitive information about the location. So this is what drives the need for the QR code. Any specific questions? I can walk you through that thing. So we have portal users, and finally we have Jesse has made a
Hey, everyone.
he made it from
Sorry, I'm late. Just
Calendar.
engineer here with Zoho. I was going to present, but I'm glad I believe this is doing here. Is here to help out, and hopefully everybody's getting to learn something and getting familiar with Creator. It's a very powerful tool. So I'll let him continue.
So like apart from that, like we had solutions, we have one of the things I wanted to show you is like Wordle stats, right? So this is get list to creator. So this is a flow. So this is how integrations build. So we have a webhook. So using the webhook. So whenever the data is, so basically get list doesn't know what it is given a webhook. And this is the URL. So we can copy this URL and then put it in your, like it need not be get list, it could be your custom application. All it does is it will post the data onto this URL. And as soon as the data comes here, what we are doing is we are creating a record in Creator. So this is the like basically our flow, and it has like if I search here for the Salesforce, so all these are the connections that are available. So if the data is there in QuickBooks, how to access it, and it also has a lot of Zoho services. So if you have data in another, so invoice, let's say if this project needs to be integrated with Zoho invoice, we can get the data for a customer from the Zoho invoice, and then we did not have his record recreated into Creator.
The domain name can be customized. For example, now the application could be created.
So it gives a default portal. So, but you can customize the redirect that to, let's say if you have a portal with GoDaddy or other provider, you can redirect this URL to the GoDaddy URL. So that will be your front facing URL, and then it will come into your portal application coming here. And finally, we have, so this I showed the Wordle one. So where we have the generation of these graphs, right? So we use our own analytics tool. So this has very basically what you have in the analysis phase, like the dimensions. So basically you can have XY dimensions, and then based on another vertical or another axis, you can have the width of a that particular graph change based on that particular value. So on the application itself, we have that. So what we generally do is like we open multiple tabs, one in development mode and one in the access mode. So whatever changes you do in development mode, you can on the right hand side, you refresh it, that you can see it in line. The same thing. So it's basically what you see is what you get kind of environments. So let's things and one of the things how we customized, we have called the record templates. So if you customize, so this is your visitor badge, right? So we put the your snapshot, the headshot here, and this is the QR code, and this is the name. And since this was a very custom this thing, right? So we have so this is where we have our a record template generated. And record template is if you want to customize it as a printable view, so where you can customize your how the record should look, and that's what goes to the printer. So schema builder is where our okay, we covered this one. Application ID is where this is what you can, so I can export this as a .ds file, and then you can import into your application. So you can create an application on top of this application by just getting the .ds. So if you want to like work on top of it, or if you want this sample application, I can send the, or I can put a .ds file at a public location and give you the URL. So with that, let's go back to any questions.
How to customize the UI?
UI is basically whatever the forms you get. So forms is the basic in between, right? Like we have those concentric circles. So the form is the basic thing in Creator. After the forms, we have reports, right? Reports are something like we have like visitors this month, this week, right? So basically, it's we are changing one variable, but creating a custom report. Once after the reports, you have pages where you can create custom pages, like the dashboard, and you can embed a report, you can embed a form within the pages, right? After the pages, we have something called the CML snippets, HTML snippets, right? This is where you get, if you are more experienced in web development, you can create your own snippets, a way of like completely bypassing the Zoho's look and feel. Using the snippets, you can create your own CSS, own HTML, own JavaScript, all those things.
And with widgets.
Yeah, with widgets. Yeah. So back to the presentation. So what we have is here is your feedback form. So if you have questions or anything like that, if you want that .ds file from me, you please fill this form, and then it goes to our marketing team, and they'll follow up with you. And then if they have the program of extending this your licenses, like basically through the innovation center, they can extend the license, right?
The trial period.
The trial period. So you have to fill this form to get to that.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. The next one is, yeah, so I'll give this one for now. We have a roadshow in Chicago on November 7th and 8th. So if you use this Creator 75, it gives you 75% off of that price. So you can, and then if you want more details, you can contact Pratik. He is our marketing person from India. So yeah. So we have it on November 7th and November 8th. It's Tuesday and Wednesday. And so like Monday being the travel day and then like the Tuesday and Wednesday are the 2 days. So we'll cover the whole Zoho Creator in more detail. We'll start with the basic application development, subforms, the widgets. So whatever we did in like 45 minutes to 1 hour, we'll have 2 days to do that. And there will be other people who are using Zoho, like the customers, if they have any doubts, they'll generally schedule one-on-one sessions with people like us, like the consultants or the solution engineers. Finally, thank you all. Thanks for your time.
Yeah. That was great. Yeah, great presentations and thanks everyone for coming out and yeah, definitely take some time, get to know each other a little bit more and yeah, as we kind of wrap up here. So yeah, really appreciate it. Great presentation.